So we have now the Olympics, the Winter Olympics for 2014, scheduled to be in Russia, in Sochi. And there is a movement afoot to get the IOC, the governing body of the Olympics, to essentially cancel the Olympics in 2014 and move it to 2015 and have them in Vancouver. Part of this this movement has been stoked by the IOC basically threatening, I don't know, threaten is the right word, but yes, I think threatening gay athletes. That any athlete who speaks out, and not just gay athletes, any athlete who speaks out against the discriminatory laws in Russia may also be disciplined by the IOC committee. This is a report from Gay Star News. They were asked what it was planning to do to ensure that LGBT individuals can have a visible, proud, safe presence at the Games, but was told the Winter Games are no place for political statements. The Olympic own charter describes such things as propaganda, which, of course, is the same word being used by the Russians in their new anti-gay law. Under Rule 50 of the IOC Charter, no kind of demonstration of political, religious, or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas. The one of the questions and the pushback that I have seen, and I saw an interview with Stephen Cohen, who is a longtime Russian expert, on Charlie Rose last night, and he said one of the dangers of having and I don't know that he was speaking about protests that emanate from the internationally. But one of the things he said that is tricky in this situation is nationalism and nativism in Russia is a fast-growing, dangerous movement. And it would make it rather easy to play into those nationalist sentiments if these protests were seen as coming from the West, as opposed to, I guess, sort of a broader human rights question. In other words, this can easily be manipulated to create a worse situation in Russia. I mean, this is the same dynamic that we've seen play out in Iran. We see it in Cuba. Frankly, we saw it in this country during the Iraq War. Whenever you have a leadership that is struggling in the polls, nationalism is the big go-to. And the boogeyman outside of your country that poses some type of threat to you existentially or in terms of your sovereignty is always a very convenient vehicle to strengthen your hand domestically. With that said, there's also a protest in this country that Dan Savage has started. Dan Savage is the author and columnist and I think radio host, podcast. He started a boycott of Russian vodka, and it has been called in some quarters the Stoli boycott. There was some question as to whether or not Stolichana vodka was actually a Russian vodka. According to interviews that they've given a year or two ago, they claim that the vodka comes from Russia. They just bottle it in Latvia. Now, that said, the Stoli CEO has been a strong proponent of gay rights and has come out and said so. Yet, an interesting piece in The Atlantic saying the Russian vodka boycott is working, whether you like it or not. And the measure in which that Russian vodka boycott is working is that it has raised public awareness, at least if you use Google searches as a gauge, to what's going on in Russia. And certainly, it was one of the things that first called my attention to these laws in Russia. I certainly wasn't aware of them when they were passed, I guess, earlier in the summer and the spring, or being debated in early spring, late winter. So that's the situation there. I mean, I was hoping to speak to a Russian expert to get a real notion of the dynamics of the politics in Russia as to the efficacy of these different approaches. But there has been a strong push to get the Olympics moved. And so, we will update that as it goes.
There's also this story that came out today, where Andy Cohen, who's he's like a Bravo late night host.
Yes, I should say that Andy Cohen got his first TV appearance on my show, Pilot Season.
Oh, really?
Yes, when he was a Bravo executive. I put him in the last scene. All the Bravo executives were in the last scene of Pilot Season.
Thanks, Sam.
So I've worked with Andy, and yes, I did see this story. But go ahead.
Okay, well, he is usually a co-host for Miss Universe, and this year Miss Universe will be taking place in Russia, and he said he has turned down the co-hosting gig because he doesn't feel safe over there as a gay man.
Yes, apparently Andy Cohen is gay. I didn't know if you're familiar with his work. That may not have been clear to you, but.
I just wanted to make sure for people who don't know who Andy Cohen is.
Yes. And so, good for him.
Good
it's
for
obviously
him,
a political.
and with these laws, that's also like a very valid concern. These
It's a
apply to
valid
people
listen,
traveling into the country as well.
It's a valid concern. I think it also is. He's making a strong political statement, and so good for Andy.